How can my husband 61M and I 60F help our son 32M move past his high school girlfriend? My husband and I are at our wits' end with our son's inability to get over his high school girlfriend. They broke up in 2011. Yes, you read that right. It has been that long since he even saw this girl. After having dated for about 2 years. At the time I did fully empathize with him. He had moved away for college while she stayed behind. They made efforts to see each other and talked frequently. But as I understand it, she began a relationship with someone else while she was still in one with my son. She at least had the decency to end things with my son in person, and did admit she was wrong in not having broken up with him before taking up with the new boyfriend. Nonetheless, my son was devastated by this, and we supported him as best we could at the time. I think he might have moved on in time, were it not for the fact that his ex-girlfriend then almost immediately married the young man. I believe he was in the military, hence the young marriage. This fact sent my son into a spiral, which has continued in some form or another over the last 14 years. Back then I thought the marriage was unlikely to last long, and that when it ended he'd feel some kind of vindication and drop it, but our son checks her social media frequently, though we have strongly advised him against this, and says they are still married and have children. My son has had a few girlfriends in the last 14 years, but none that have lasted long, and even during the times he has been attached he still continues to talk about how wronged he was. We see him very frequently, and while his ex is not our only topic of discussion, she does come up in some way almost every time we see him. We probably know more about her life now than we did while they were dating. We have allowed him to vent, but did eventually set boundaries around abusive language. For a time he favored a few words to describe her, beginning with S and W mainly, that I don't care for, and to his credit he has stopped that, but for all I know he's only stopped saying them around us. In general we employ the tactic of nod and agree, then change the subject. It's like he cannot resist an opportunity to bring her up. This past weekend, things came to a head when our son made an offhand comment about his ex. My husband responded by shouting at our son to get over it already, that we were sick of hearing about a girl he dated more than a decade ago, and that he needed to stop all mention of her around us. I asked my husband to go in another room and take a breather, and when he did I suggested to my son that if he truly cannot move past this, that we help him seek some sort of therapy or other intervention. He responded by immediately leaving, and has not responded to any of my texts or calls since. I wish my husband had not shouted, but I am right there with him. This has gone on too long, and we have enabled the behavior. I've even wondered if he'd still be bringing her up if we had put our foot down about this before. Any time we have pushed back in any way or challenged any assertion he made about his ex/their relationship, he has become very upset, so we defaulted to just let him vent. I do not think he has done any more than stalk her social media, but I feel this has long been unhealthy and may require an intervention of some kind. I'm hoping he comes around in the next few days, but am unsure how to broach the topic again without further upsetting him. Tell him he can't come back to your house until he's been in therapy for at least a month. Warn that woman that she should make her social media private. This is way over the line. 14 years? I'm actually more worried about the ex-girlfriend. Your son's obsession has really turned into anger if he's calling her the derogatory names like that and creepily stalking her social media posts. He is unstable and borderline dangerous at this point. Please reach out to her and have her make her profile private and let her know what's going on with your son in case he ever tries to show up, because if your son is refusing to get help, it's the least you can do. Your son has allowed his anger to fester and turn into rage and obsession. That's dangerous for his ex and her family. He's 30-fucking-2. He has no reason to still be so bitterly hung up on an ex from 14 years ago to the point of calling her names. These are the type of dudes we read about who make hundreds of accounts just to harass an ex. I imagine he's sending her messages on social media to the point of being blocked over and over again. Your husband was right to call it out. He's not a child, and y'all need to stop with the rug sweeping. You need to take this seriously. Your son's rage could boil over to actual physical stalking, or worse. It sounds like your son is stalking his ex-girlfriend. This is an obsession that is incredibly unhealthy and dangerous for the woman and her family. Your son needs mental health intervention pronto. He needs to talk to someone about it who can professionally help him. 14 years is a very long time to continue to carry that anger. He's right in that it was wrong of her to do, but that was 14 years ago. He's since given her so much time and space he didn't allow space for anyone else. My ex-boyfriend was like this, and it ended with me getting a restraining order on him. Your son is displaying disturbing behavior. He needs intervention ASAP. I, 32 female, ruined my boyfriend's, 32 male, birthday by accident. My boyfriend, 32M, and I, 32F, have been together 2 years. We don't live together. His birthday weekend ended in an argument, and I know I didn't handle myself well. There was a misunderstanding around dinner plans. I felt excluded and embarrassed, and instead of communicating calmly, I reacted emotionally. I've apologized, taken accountability, and owned my part without excuses. He refused to see me the entire weekend, and I didn't get to spend his birthday with him. He told me he was going out with 2 friends, and ended up going out with 20+ people. Friends and their girlfriends. I wasn't invited. I got upset and angry. He told me he never said that, and I need to work on my listening, and said I was just ruining his birthday out of spite. But what's happened since has left me feeling completely shattered and confused. He didn't just say he was hurt. He told me that I don't deserve to be forgiven, that I'm lucky if I ever hear from him again, that he doesn't know if he can love me after this. He then went silent. He put his phone on Do Not Disturb, stopped replying, and gave me no timeline, no clarity, no boundary, nothing. I don't even know if we're broken up. I asked and he refused to answer. He just said he needs space but wouldn't tell me what that means, how long, or where we stand. It feels like being held in limbo, waiting to be chosen or discarded. I know I messed up by reacting out of hurt and insecurity. I am not proud of it, but I have never once told him he doesn't deserve forgiveness. I have never punished him with silence. I've been ruminating over every detail, replaying every moment, trying to understand how a conflict turned into me being told I'm basically unlovable and might never hear from him again. I don't know how to make sense of the intensity of the punishment compared to the mistake. I want to take responsibility for my part without disappearing into shame. I want to learn from this without feeling like my existence now requires penance. I want repair, not powerlessness. And I can't tell if what I'm waiting for is a conversation or the slow fade of a breakup he won't say out loud. I guess what I'm asking is, at what point does space become a breakup? How do you repair when the other person refuses to tell you whether the relationship is even still intact? And is there a version of accountability that doesn't require you to accept being spoken to like you're disposable? It's been 4 whole days since he's spoken to me. Your boyfriend went to dinner with 20 other people and their significant others, and you weren't invited. What does that tell you about him and his friends? Be grateful he hasn't spoken to you and move on with your life. You already know that you're broken up, you're just not ready to accept it. Have some dignity, don't beg for someone who excludes you on their birthday and ices you out for days to love you, as they clearly don't. Don't love someone who doesn't love you back, that's just sad. Can you explain a little more? So were you not invited to his birthday dinner? There's no scenario that warrants this type of reaction from him unless you were absolutely insane, throwing things and being menacing. That would probably be unforgivable for me. Anything less than that is nuts. If it's been 4 days, I would consider myself broken up. My advice: find your own peace. Learn about yourself from this scenario and move on as a better person. Also block his number, so you are not living with hope. Block and allow yourself to move on. It's going to be messy and upsetting and shocking, but you can do it. You can learn and grow and change and be a beautiful new you. Take up yoga or a hobby and protect yourself. Your inner you deserves protecting. How did you ruin his birthday by being excluded from his party? I mean, when talking about the party, a partner would have told you where, and when, even if you're not going together. When you didn't turn up, he would have texted you to see whether you're okay. He did not want you there, and he darvoed you because being pissed off at not being invited is of course so much ruder than not inviting his girlfriend. He did not want you there. The relationship is dead. Just move on. A man who won't talk to you isn't a man you want. Especially a man who can't apologize and take accountability. I wouldn't be begging for him back. My boyfriend, 33M, was uninvited to my sister's, 34F, wedding. Can my relationship heal from this? // edit // I started this thread with the intention of forgiving my 29F boyfriend, 33M, after basically cheating, texting and messaging women and bots on other platforms, some explicit. Only this isn't his second chance, it's technically the third. As ridiculous as the third event is, it's still cheating, whether it was a bot or not. The other issue I addressed was that my sister, 34F, will not forgive or acknowledge him now, which I totally understand, but it would be obvious in front of my family, putting her character at risk, because my parents don't know what's going on. They will wonder why she's being so rude, and that will hurt me even more. So I was wondering how to remedy the situation, or if it was pointless, and the relationship is doomed. She also revoked his invitation to her wedding. I am on her side. He has made me feel bad about this, but I agree with her. I don't even want him at my sister's wedding. Y'all did not hold back, and honestly, I needed to hear it. I want to thank everyone who took the time to give me solid advice. For many of you, it probably came from experience, and on some level, what I am going through. For others, you have common sense, or are blessed with a strong will, or maybe just know better, but your advice and feedback still mean a lot. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to everyone, but I tried to read every response. Since I already put myself out there, I'll go ahead and address a lot of common threads. 1. My sister is an angel for putting up with me. That's putting it nicely. She is right not to want him at the wedding, and she's an excellent judge of character. I should take her advice and all of yours and run. 2. I was in therapy, a lot of it. I thought I had moved on from all of this nonsense, so it was really hard to see it for what it is. I'm a bit out of practice, but he literally gaslit me so many times. I used to be an expert in this. My therapy started at 14 through 16, then again at 17 to 19, and again at 23 to 24. 3. I definitely need some alone time. I did have back-to-back relationships, with one break lasting up to at least 6-8 months. But my boyfriend was relentlessly pursuing me at the time. I let his harassment slide for so long. And then I dated him. I saw him for what he was, and chose to see what I thought he could be. He is not that person. 4. Manipulation is crazy, especially when the fog clears, which it has with everything you all had to say. My eyes are opening. It hurts so much to let the image of him go, but I need to realize it's not really him. It's fake. Doesn't exist. 5. I have safe places I can go. I have a support system and people who will be there for me. 6. I promise this wasn't for attention or clickbait. I was really lost before coming to Reddit. It was my first actual post. But I've hit a new low, and I think my subconscious was screaming for someone to wake me up. What better way than this? Y'all didn't disappoint. I want to leave my boyfriend now. I need to make a plan many of you recommended I should follow through with packing my stuff and leaving while he's at work. So, that's what I'll do. I need a few days to reorganize, but I need to do this. And for anyone who read this and is going through something similar, I hope this thread helped you as much as it helped me. I have free will. This is my life. I don't need him. I will be okay, better even without him. The wedding will be epic, especially because he's not going to be there. I need a real man. Wherever he is, I hope I find him. I don't want to settle for anything less than what I deserve. I'll keep you posted. Thank you all. Light skin tone emoji modifier K. /. My sister Eve, 34F, got engaged last year, and I, 29F, am her maid of honor. We weren't always close, but we are really close now. She's my big sister, and has always been really protective of me. I've had really bad experiences with men, but I've also been lucky to know what a good man is and looks like. My boyfriend, 33M, Kevin of 3 years, really fucked up. I broke down and told Eve what happened before I talked to Kevin, probably a mistake, because I was just devastated. Since then, after confronting Kevin, I chose to stay, even though I had my car packed. It felt like he used all the feel-bad-for-me manipulative tricks, but it worked, and I'm still here. I really do love him and care for him. But now Eve is refusing to acknowledge or talk to him. She also revoked his invite to her wedding. Ultimately, Eve doesn't want him in the wedding photos, and she doesn't trust him anymore. I totally understand. I'm not sure if I even want him at the wedding anymore. We're still working on us, but if things don't work out, I don't want him to be in those photos. She thinks he'll be a stain in the photos, and I'm not sure if she's wrong. I want to express that I am not mad at my sister. I'm more on her side than his. He made a huge mistake, and now he's suffering the consequences. But I'm right in the middle of it. He is devastated. He loves my family, and now feels like everything is falling apart. So do I. If you thought it was messy now. Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming up. Eve is getting married just a few days after Christmas. How am I supposed to have my boyfriend around the family? Literally just my parents, Eve and her fiancé, and myself and Kevin. For Thanksgiving and or Christmas dinner? Eve doesn't want to talk to him at all. It will be so obvious. She's sworn to secrecy. She won't tell anyone, especially not my parents. But if she acts like that, they'll know something is up. And all they'll talk about is the wedding that my boyfriend knows he's not invited to, but can't tell anyone he's not invited to. I'm the maid of honor, so I have to be involved. It's just a mess. When he isn't at the wedding, I'll have to lie and say he has COVID, and that's why he's not there. And afterwards? I don't know. Should Kevin talk to Eve? Should he try to remedy it? Is this relationship over? I can't imagine being with someone my sister doesn't trust. She'll probably never think any guy is good enough for me, but this just feels like too much. My parents, Dad especially, love Kevin. Backstory/drama. I found out he had been messaging his exes and other women in April of this year. Really nasty stuff. One was even a closure message to someone he fell in love with years ago. Which honestly, I wasn't as bothered by that as I was with the other stuff I saw. Also, for some reason, he was messaging bots on IG who were posing as sexy Latinas. LOL. We have lived together for over a year, so I slowly started organizing and gathering my things. I was preparing to leave. It took me weeks to confront him, because it felt so hard. I knew my life, our relationship, would change. I was scared to lose that comfort I found in him. I chose to forgive him. We had a big talk. I said he needed to step up, yada yada. Months later, nothing changed. He was still up to his antics of not being a very good BF. Just unsupportive, unhelpful, lazy. September comes around. We're watching TV, he's on X, and I see him go to his messages and quickly exit it out. I knew something was up. I decided to check his socials while he was at work to see if he was talking to anyone again. Lo and behold, I found new messages with a beauty on X. She was sending him almost nudes and whatnot. He was responding, calling her baby, etc. I say her, because it was probably a middle-aged man trying to scam people. I went numb, and I couldn't even cry at first. He wasn't supposed to be that guy. We were good friends for years before we started dating. He warned me against those guys, told me to stay away. That any dude who still talks to his exes or other women is just keeping his options open and is disgusting. He isn't supposed to be that guy. And now, my whole reality has shifted, and I don't know what's real or not. This thought is what caused me to break down in front of my sister, causing me to tell her what happened. I didn't tell her about what happened in April. I only told her about the bot he was messaging on X. I've been cheated on, and I was even groomed by a man when I was 14, not really knowing any better, or thinking I did. It lasted years, and he abused me a lot emotionally. I've had a hard time with relationships ever since. I'm really good at dissociating, too, so that's kind of what I've been doing. And totally avoiding confrontation with Kevin. We finally talked about everything the other day, and he's completely devastated again. I tried talking to my sister about whether she felt any differently about the situation, and she said no. She doesn't want to talk to him or acknowledge him, and he's still not invited to the wedding. He's upset and doesn't think it's fair. But he also gets it. He thinks she'd change her mind if I fought harder for him and advocated for him and our relationship. WTF am I supposed to advocate for right now? That's basically what I told him, in nicer words. I've been in back-to-back relationships my entire early teens to late 20s. I've learned a lot and I've loved a lot. Kevin was supposed to be the nice guy. I chose the nice guy over money, over looks, over everything. I chose a guy that I thought would be a good partner and a good father one day. As stupid as it sounds, he was literally messaging a bot, and that's what did us in? It's hard to believe something so stupid, so ridiculous, so embarrassing for him would destroy our relationship. It more so brings up images of the messages I saw in April, and it's triggering AF. As I'm typing all this out, I feel like I know the answers to my questions. But I struggle letting him go so easily. I know I'm not responsible for his actions, but when he cried and told me he was nothing without me, he couldn't do it without me, I believed him, because I feel the same way. But it felt really unfair. I had my car packed, and I waited for him to get home from work. When he did, I told him I was leaving. We talked for like 2 days, and I ended up staying. More for him than me. But now, a month later, I'm just sad and confused. I love him and don't want to see him so hurt. But he caused this. I can't imagine anyone else can relate to a situation like this. Maybe it's not so uncommon. Should my boyfriend try and talk to my sister? Or is this relationship just doomed now? If this ends up getting a lot of attention and debate, I'll post the messages I found on his phone to settle it. Thanks in advance. K. Your sister is right, and you need to grow a straighter spine. He's messaging other women and disrespecting you, then manipulating you to stay. What's so great about him? It doesn't sound like much. This post is so depressing. Hun, do you honestly believe you deserve so little? If the answer is yes, you need to dump the man and get some therapy. If the answer is no, dump the man and get some therapy. What are you doing? You seem to think you're powerless against the forces of fate, or something. Take control of your own life. I mean, the wedding/Christmas/whatever are just the icing on a shit cake. You should be concentrating on sorting your head out and leaving this person. By the way, there's no reason any of your family would want anything to do with your boyfriend, and I can't blame them. You're worrying about all the wrong things. Get a grip of your life and make a good decision for yourself. He's upset and doesn't think it's fair. Doesn't this tell you everything you need to know about Kevin? He cheated on you constantly for 7 months. That you know of, guarantee it's been for years. And he doesn't think natural consequences are fair for him. He has literally no remorse, takes no accountability. And because of that, he will continue to cheat. He wants you to fix it for him. He cheats, but expects you to fix his image for him. You said you've been in constant relationships for your entire teen to adult life. It's time for you to take care of yourself, put yourself first, perhaps some therapy to work on your self-esteem, and most importantly DTMFA. Girl. I've been in situations similar, but not identical. Absolutely leave him. Your sister is completely right. He's being emotionally and psychologically abusive. If he cared about you, your family, or your events, he never would have done this. I doubt your boyfriend trying to talk to your sister would do any good, because if my sister was dating someone like your current partner, I'd be too pissed to hear him out. Then if my sister tried to defend his shitty actions, I'd be even more frustrated with her, because I would want her to date someone who wouldn't even cheat and lie to her in the first place. He has messaged people behind your back more than once, and it seems like he only gives you the reassurance you need once you're halfway out the door. He also didn't tell you himself, which comes across like he would still be doing this behind your back if you hadn't found out. That's not a supportive partner. That's a guy who is freaking out now that he's been caught. I, 37M, just found out my partner, 37F, was hiding $80K of debt. I just found out my partner's student loan debt is essentially double what I expected. I have been supporting my partner to go school over the last several years. I have co-signed loans and just paid for semesters. They have failed classes and have had to retake things, but that's not relevant. I understand we're very fortunate to be in the position we are. I knew some of the loans had really bad interest rates, and I asked her over 9 months ago to look into refinancing, which never happened. In the interim we had a kid, so a lot has been going on. I got a bug up my butt and finally set aside the time to go through the process and see what rate we could get. I expected there to be $70,000-ish worth of debt. That actual amount is $150,000. There are so many financial decisions in the last 7 years, since we got engaged, that I would have made differently if I knew there was this much debt. She comes from a poor family with little to no financial literacy. And so I believe her when she said she just wasn't paying attention and didn't realize it was that much. But fuck. Now we have a kid, and I would have to pay for a nanny to watch said kid, so she could continue school. And perhaps the thing that eats me is I don't see the effort/struggle to ensure she graduates and can get a job after graduation. Like she's failed classes while also putting in hundreds of hours in Diablo 4. So I just don't know how to feel. I want to support her dreams, she's a wonderful person. But she does not heed my advice of how damn competitive it is out there, and like she could be doing drills or making side projects outside of class to help differentiate herself. The idea of go to college and get a job is just trashed in tech. You got a degree? Well, they got a degree, had internships, a personal Git repo, and open source commits. It's so competitive. I've essentially paid for her to live and go to school for years, and I wanted all of that. I accepted that was what we were doing as a unit. This unexpected debt just has really upset me, 'cause I've given so much, and maybe I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, or my contribution is not being respected. How am I to tell the love of my life? I can't keep supporting you at the level I have been well, you accidentally hit all this debt that now I'm on the hook for. I'm just not sure how to feel. Edit 1. We are married. I did not co-sign on this debt I didn't know about. But we're married. It's sorta our burden, not just hers. Edit 2. People are confused about timeline and situation. We've been together over a decade, engaged 2018, married 22. She did school part-time while working full-time from 2018-2021. Then she went school full-time until prepping for kid this year. I've only co-signed 50K of debt. The rest is from previous schooling attempts, and I just didn't know about it. Why on earth were you paying for their schooling while they were failing classes, and both of y'all not keeping up with how much student loan debt they had? On top of that, you added a kid to this mess. You both need lessons in financial literacy. I would say failing classes is very relevant. Why did you co-sign loans for someone you're not married to? How long has she been in school? More than the 7 years? 150K in loans is an egregious amount in loan debt for someone that sounds like they're nowhere near completing a degree. Sounds like she is treating college like a side quest/game rather than an actionable accomplishment to further the future. This is such a mess, dude. Wait, so if you've been paying for it, how did you not pay attention to how much you've been paying? You have been as financially illiterate in different ways as her. You both need to sit down with a financial advisor and sort this out now. I would think very carefully about continuing this relationship. Can you explain why you thought this would be a good time to start a family? When will she graduate if she doesn't flunk any more classes? And when is the last time that she held a job? Sounds like her dream is actually to play video games while you support the family.